Hi, 7th graders, and welcome to a new week. It is Monday, October the 12th, and this is our fall break week. So at the end of this week, you won't have any homework on Thursday or Friday, except literature and perhaps some math. We are kind of at a little break in grammar as well. You will be taking a test on Chapter 2 on Wednesday, and we will actually take that test in class. So it was a little bit easier to just go ahead and have you take the test and turn it in on that day. So you'll be practicing with some review exercises this week, and then we'll have the test on Wednesday. I don't think it's going to be super hard. I think it'll be a pretty easy test for you to take, and then we'll be able to take our break. But today we're talking a little bit about sentence transitions, and I want to cover this because I want you to really start working on your sentences this year and the way that you move from one to the other. We've talked about awkward sentences that have the same opener, the subject-verb opener, one after the other, and how boring that can be. So we really want to push the writing for you to have other word choices besides the ones that we see in IEW. And so that's what sentence transitions does, is it helps us to have good words as we are moving back and forth between sentences. So what we want to do is take a look at the gray box, just like always. So if you don't have your book opened to page 84, please open it up. And this is going to be a super easy lesson. I don't think you're going to find it difficult. It's probably only going to be about 5 minutes. And then you'll be able to go and work on any other work, or get ahead and work on your grammar or study for your test on Wednesday. So let's take a look at what transitional words are. Transitional words build coherence by showing relationship from one sentence to the other. So if I'm writing a paper on how to make Rice Krispie treats, I don't just want to list, start by dumping the Rice Krispie treats in a bowl. Then warm up your butter. Then put your marshmallows in. That's very boring. Instead, I want to have sequential words that are telling me what is next. I also want to repeat words in my paragraph, and this is where that topic and clincher comes in our IEW writing. If you're not familiar with that yet, don't worry about it, but many of our students should recognize that that topic and clincher is really important, and having that opening sentence and then the closing sentence that repeats key words. Also, pronouns and using those well can take the place of a word that we keep saying over and over again. So make sure that you have good pronoun choices. So let's just take a look and see if we can keep this under 5 minutes. We'll take a look at the different words that it is suggested that you would use. So back to my Rice Krispie treat scenario. If I was doing that, I might say first, pour your Rice Krispies into a bowl. Next, you will want to warm up your butter. Then you will add your marshmallows. After adding the marshmallows, I want to do this. So here is a whole bunch of words that can help you as you move through a process and explaining a process. And at some point in the year, we may do that as a writing assignment where you actually have to explain a process to me. So hold tight on that. We might be doing that this year. Also, as you are telling stories or even giving directions, you might use space words. So if you were to start a story about a little bear that was walking through the forest, you might say something ahead. He noticed that there were 3 tigers. He began to move ahead, but then noticed to the right that there were 3 more tigers. And in the distance, there were some other animals that scared him. Next, he moved a little more slowly, and as he came to the inside of a little forest glen, he noticed there was a cave he could hide in. So you notice as you tell stories that it's helpful to give perspective of space as you write, but you can also do this if you're trying to describe some sort of physical activity that you want someone to do. You might tell them to move ahead several spaces, or to go, or to move above or around, or move into the distance. So keep these words in mind. Next, you may want to add things to your story. You may want to have something at the end that explains something after you've already told a story. A lot of times when I am writing an email, by the time I get to the end, I might say, again, I want to explain this, this, and this, or in addition to what I've said above, I want to add this. So these are words that you could use for that. And you can print out any of these slides and keep these in your binder if it would help to have them. Another category is contrast. If I want to perhaps do a compare contrast, I might share something, but then I might say, but on the other hand, here's that phrase, you also have to consider this. Or although Mr. Smith said this, Mr. Jones felt like, and then you could fill the blanks in there. So this is something that's you would see kind of in a compare contrast. Next, we have a couple of, I'm not sure that this is what I would call this category, but if you want to explain something in more depth, you might say, for example, please turn to page 22 and I will recite this poem, whatever. Or specifically, let me show you how to do this problem. So those are our example or illustration words. And then finally, you can use words like in summary or in conclusion at the beginning of your sentences, or consequently, or as a result. These are all words, all of these slides are words that are kind of in addition to what we're doing in our IEW writing. But it's important to have good transition, or to make our sentences seem like they really should go together. Sometimes sentences seem kind of choppy, and these words can really help you put them together. I would like for you to read through the examples on page 86. I'm going to conclude the video in just a second, but I would like for you to read through the examples on page 86 to see some of the differences in the way these words are used. That is all I have for today, and I will see you on Wednesday, and we will be taking our test that day. Make sure that you're looking at the class review tomorrow, and email me if you have any questions. So I will see you Wednesday.